While the retail market focused on domestic US equity multiples, institutional capital quietly spotted a massive paradox unfolding in East Asia. South Korea's blistering stock rally has left global allocators facing an unprecedented backdrop, equities trading at some of their lowest structural valuations on record. Despite a massive run-up in benchmark indices, the underlying earnings power of these export champions has grown even faster, driving forward multiples down to historical lows. To understand why this divergence matters, we must examine the structural composition of the Korean market. For decades, the Kospi index has traded at a persistent discount relative to its global peers, commonly referred to as the Korea discount. This isn't just about geography, it's a structural discount applied to some of the most advanced technology, manufacturing, and automotive companies on Earth. The core value proposition of these entities remains incredibly robust, yet they trade as if they are permanently impaired. At the center of this matrix are global leaders like Samsung Electronics and SK hynix. These are not speculative startups. They are the literal backbone of the global semiconductor supply chain. Samsung alone holds a dominant position in DRAM and NAND memory, while SK hynix controls the lion's share of high-bandwidth memory crucial for AI acceleration. Together, they represent a massive, capital-intensive technology moat that is virtually impossible for competitors to replicate. Yet, their valuations behave as if they are cyclical commodity producers at the end of their life cycle. But that is only part of the story. If we look closely at the recent quarterly financial results, the operational reality tells a completely different tale. Earnings have surged, driven by an explosive demand recovery in artificial intelligence hardware and high-performance computing. Revenue metrics across the technology and automotive segments have seen double-digit year-over-year growth. Instead of a cyclical slowdown, we are seeing accelerating fundamentals that have simply outpaced the market's willingness to adjust its pricing models. Here's where the margin metrics become interesting. Operating margins for high-bandwidth memory manufacturers have expanded significantly, reversing several quarters of inventory corrections. For instance, SK hynix has demonstrated dramatic margin recovery, proving that pricing power has returned to the memory sector. When operating leverage is this high, small increases in average selling prices translate directly into massive earnings beats. Yet, despite this high-quality earnings visibility, equity multiples have actually compressed, creating a deeper valuation disconnect. The next signal comes from management's capital allocation. Recognizing this valuation gap, corporate leadership is undergoing a fundamental shift in execution strategy. Urged on by government regulators, major Korean conglomerates are actively participating in the newly introduced Corporate Value-Up program. This initiative is designed to address the core governance issues that have depressed valuations for decades. We are seeing a concerted effort to enhance corporate transparency and align management interests with minority shareholders for the first time. This brings us directly to capital allocation. Traditionally, Korean firms have hoarded cash, resulting in low return on equity and depressed payout ratios. Now, however, we are witnessing a structural shift. Samsung and Hyundai Motor have begun signaling larger capital returns, including aggressive treasury stock cancellations and enhanced dividend payouts. When a historically cheap asset class starts returning cash to its shareholders at a record pace, it fundamentally alters the risk-reward calculation for long-term allocators. Now look at how the broader sector is reacting within the global industry context. The global macro environment is currently defined by a fierce race for semiconductor supremacy and supply chain localization. South Korea sits at the absolute epicenter of this geopolitical chess match. With the United States and Europe pouring billions into domestic fabs, the specialized supplier networks controlled by Korean firms have become highly strategic assets. This structural tailwind is secular, not cyclical, and it underpins long-term earnings resilience. This matters because macro headwinds like currency dynamics have actually provided an unexpected competitive advantage. The persistent relative weakness of the Korean won has made their high-value exports incredibly competitive on the global stage. While a weaker currency usually signals domestic weakness, for export-driven giants like Hyundai and Samsung, it boosts overseas earnings conversion and preserves global market share. This operational hedge is often ignored by macro models focused purely on domestic currency depreciation. That leads us to a bigger question regarding terminal risk. No investment thesis is complete without analyzing the structural vulnerabilities. The most prominent headwind remains the domestic corporate structure known as the chaebol. These family-controlled conglomerates have historically prioritized dynasty succession and cross-shareholding over minority shareholder rights. If corporate governance reforms fail to take root, or if the corporate value-up program loses regulatory teeth, the structural discount could remain a permanent fixture of this market. Beyond governance, we must also consider systemic macroeconomic headwinds. South Korea's economy is highly sensitive to global trade cycles, making it vulnerable to rising global protectionism and trade tariff disputes. Furthermore, any sudden escalation in geopolitical tensions on the Korean peninsula or a sharper-than-expected slowdown in Chinese import demand could disrupt supply chains. These tail-risk scenarios are why institutional capital has historically demanded a significant risk premium when allocating to KOSPI equities. Here's what's changing. Looking forward, the earnings visibility for the next multi-year cycle is surprisingly strong. The transition to advanced AI architectures and next-generation vehicle platforms is still in its early stages. This structural shift guarantees sustained demand for advanced memory chips, multi-layer ceramic capacitors, and automotive drivetrains. As these structural trends materialize, the market will be forced to undergo a major forward earnings and valuation reassessment. The bigger question is whether the market is pricing in a value trap or a generational breakout. If we look at the price-to-book ratios of the KOSPI index, they are currently hovering near historical crisis levels, even as corporate return on equity metrics trend upward. Historically, buying world-class, cash-generating businesses at discount multiples has been one of the most reliable sources of alpha. The margin of safety here appears remarkably wide, especially for long-term institutional capital. That brings us to our tactical review. We are placing the South Korean benchmark ETF, ticker EWY, on a structural breakout watch. The underlying technical consolidation, combined with accelerating fundamentals and aggressive governance reforms, points to massive positive volatility potential. Simultaneously, we are monitoring individual export champions for capital rotation opportunities. For allocators seeking deep value backed by absolute global market dominance, this represents one of the most compelling risk-adjusted profiles in the macro landscape today. Something important is happening here, and global capital is starting to notice. As structural reforms collide with cheap valuations, the risk premium in South Korea is set to adjust. To stay ahead of these structural shifts and institutional capital rotations, make sure you are subscribed to SR Money News. Click the link below to join our premium network of professional allocators and active investors. We will see you on the next deep dive.